Welcome, it's Tim here from the server Joy, and today I'm going to be showing you a remake and model of my old video on how to set up a Bukkit server, because quite a few questions have been coming up, so I thought I'd do a new one covering all the questions, so hopefully no one get confused. So what you need to do is you need to go to your internet, and this is the optionary one. You don't need to download this, but Notepad++ just makes the editing of config files so much easier. So I use it, a lot of people already used it. A few people have commented saying it's brilliant, so I would suggest downloading it. And just go to the download page, and my internet's going to be quite slow because I'm doing something, I'm not uploading, and then just click on the installer up here, and then just install it like you would any other program, and it'll be fine. Then, next thing you need to do, actually, what you need to do is you need to click here where it says recommended build for craftbukkit. Click that, it should open up a new tab, and at the moment it's 1.2.5, and it's R2, so let me just download that. It will say that it's malicious. It's not, believe me. I've used loads of different types, download jar files, and all of them from Bukkit are completely fine, so just keep it. Even if it says it is, it's not. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder where all of our information for our server is going to be stored. So let me just call this test. Move that over there, and right, whilst that's downloading, let me just rearrange some stuff. Shift that over there. Right, this folder here is where everything's going to be stored. That jar is going to be stored there, and so will the world folders, the plugin folders, the whitelists, everything like that. But that's taken a long time to install, so what we need to do is we need to go to Notepad, Notepad++, or whichever one. I'm just going to do it in normal Notepad for now, and you'll need to put in this code here. Basically what this code is, it's the starter code. When you click on it, it'll open up your executable jar and start your server. The only thing you really, no, two things, sorry, you really need to know what this means is this little bit here and this bit. What this little bit here means is the amount of gig of RAM that you're allowing the server to use. So obviously you need to know how much RAM your laptop or computer has, but I'm going to set that to 3 at the moment. And then what you want to do is you want to go and save it where your, wherever your folder is that you'll put in your jar. So just put it in there as, doesn't make a big difference what this bit is, star, name mine star, but this bit, bat, it needs to be, that needs to be on the end, .bat. Alright, hopefully now it should have downloaded, yes, there we go. And then what you want to do is you want to drag your jar folder that you just downloaded from Bukkit into that folder where you've just created the start code. This little bit here is the name of this executable jar. So at the moment, as you can see, I've named it to look for craftbukkit.jar in the same folder, and as you can see, this is not just called craftbukkit.jar, it's craftbukkit hash 1.2.5. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of this, so it literally just says craftbukkit, and then when we click on start, it will load everything up. As you can see, you'll get a few warnings and failed to loads and stuff like that, as it can't find the OPs and the banned IPs and banned players and whitelist and such forth. Then it will start creating your world, creating your spawn area, creating the nether, and creating the end. When everything is finished, it will say done. This is different to normal servers, like the default one you can get from Minecraft, as it's in C and D. So what you need to do, just like the other one, is just type stop and enter. It will save everything to this folder. Everything will be stored in here, and it just says press any key to continue, and it will close, and your server is now down. And obviously whenever you want anyone to connect to it, you just need to click on start and set it all up again. But as you can see here, we've got banned players, the help, the OPs, and server file, which contains a load of gibberish. Sorry, I don't really know what it means. The whitelist. But the main thing we're going to go through now is the server here. This is where you can do small tweaks to your server and what happens in it. So let me just change the message of the day here, which is the message that comes underneath below the IP in the Minecraft multiplayer menu. So let's just put this to I rule because I'm that vain. Generate structures, spawn monsters, yes. Max players, 20. Game mode that you want everyone to be set to, 0. Survival. Difficulty, 1. PvP. I don't want PvP. Change it off. False. Online mode needs to be true. It should be by default. All of the ones that set up here, all by default. I don't usually change them, so they're all alright usually. Server IP, I'd leave this blank as the computer searches for the IP. So if you're having trouble with people connecting to you, you can put it in there, but sometimes it does muck it up. The level seed, if you put a level seed in, you need to delete the current world, nether and end, stick the seed in, and it will generate it from that seed. The server port, you can have 25565, 2620, 777, and one other one that I can't remember. But at the moment we just did 25565. There are many different ports. You need to use these, otherwise people won't be able to connect to you. So save. The plugins folder, which at the moment has nothing in there. We'll go through that with permissions in a minute. That's one of the ones that I'll be showing you how to do. The world folder, the nether, and so forth. So what I'm going to show you how to do now is how to port forward so you can get people connecting to your server, because that is the main thing that you want happening. So what you need to do is, let me just close that. What you'll need to do is go to your search and find CMD, and then you'll need to type ipconfig. And it'll come up with all your connections, list of connections. What you need to find is your default gateway, which usually is 192.168.0.1. But just in case, make sure you are typing in the right thing. So let me just copy that. Then what you need to do is go to your browser and paste in that default gateway into your URL bar. And then what you'll need to do is log into your router with your password and username. If you haven't changed this, by default, I think that the username is admin and the password is password, I think. If not, check on your web service provider's website, check what their login details are. If you've already changed it, then you know what it is, so just log in. Each router's website, even with the Netgear, different models, will have different websites. So what you need to find is somewhere along the lines of services. So click on services, and as you can see, I already have quite a lot of Minecraft services already up. But basically what I'm going to show you how to do, let me just remove this one, delete that service, and I'm going to show you how to damn, okay, I'll just start a new one then. What I'm going to show you is how to create a service. So you want to go to add surface and name it whatever you want. So I'm just going to call this test. You need to, the type needs to be tcp.udp. This allows connections both ways. The start point, this is the server that we said we were going to use in the server properties. So the 25565, as we've stated here. That needs to be the same here. So let me just paste it in there and apply. But mine, because I've already used it, it will say it's already been used. So, but it's there anyway, the one that I already set up. Then what you need to go find is somewhere along firewalls. You've set up the service, but you need to allow people to connect to you, because your router won't allow it to happen usually. Stops people from hacking and getting onto your computer. And once again, as you can see, I already have quite a lot of services and ones already up. So I'm going to add another one, but the same thing will happen, saying that I've already got one for that. But anyway, add a new service. Find the service that you just named and the port. This one's here. Allow always. This here is, you need to type in your IP4 address. So at the moment mine's this up here, this one. 192.7, let's try and remember that. 192.168.0.7. This is where some people get a bit annoyed, because IPs within the house and IPs in general aren't static. They will change. So your IP address one time can be different to the next day, because they're not static. If I moved this here is my IP address within my house connected to my router. If I move downstairs, this 7 might become to a 14 because I've moved in the house. So if you move your laptop, and sometimes it just changes anyway, this will keep the same, but your IP will change. So when you start up the server, it won't say it's up. So what you first want to do before commenting saying, "Oh my god, your video sucks," is you want to check that your IP4 address hasn't changed. Usually this will be the main source of the problem. When mine doesn't start, this is the problem here, because my IP4 address has changed. So all you need to do is just ipconfig, find out what your new IP4 address, usually it would just be the end bit, come back into your router server settings online, go to firewall, and then edit this, and just change this last number to whatever it is. At the moment mine is currently 7 and will stay that way for a little while. Click apply or OK, or whichever one it is. Obviously mine already exists, so it's not going to let me. And here you'll then have it already set up. Then what you need to do is go to, close that, go to start. It will then start everything for you and load. You need to open up your Minecraft to show you that it all works. Log in. This is where you also need to go to Google and type "what's my IP," and it will load up, and your IP address will be here. And as I was saying, exactly the same with the IPv4 address, this will change, not just because I move in the house, but it will change in general. So once again, people won't be able to connect, or you won't be able to connect. That will be the main source of the problem. So you'll want to be regularly checking what your IP address is, just so people don't get annoyed with you. Obviously, just like a normal server, you just want to go onto the multiplayer and add. Mine's already there, but I'm just going to add it again anyway. So plonk your IP address in, and then find the port that it was on, so 25565, 25565, and it's there, so you then join. And it renders you in, and now this is your world that you have just created, and you're now on your Bukkit server that you've just made. But obviously this is just a blank server at the moment, so there's no plugins, and that is the main part of a Bukkit server. Allows you to enter in loads of plugins. So what I'm now going to go through is one of the main plugins. It's called Permissions. So let me just disconnect and close Minecraft and stop this. Right, so Permissions is the plugin I used to change most regularly. I'm getting confused where I'm going now. Right, okay. And the link to this, like all the other links in the video, will be in the description. So let's just download it and I'll run through it with you. So what you want to do is you want to go to the dev page and then click the download, and it will download the most recent one that they have put up. So it will then download it. And what you need to do is you need to have WinRAR, or actually no, it's a zip file. You won't need WinRAR, sorry. You need to open it up in the zip file. Open your plugins folder in your directory, and then you'll need to drag all of the jars into the plugins folder, and then start, and it will then load all the executable jars up and create folders in the plugin folder. So let me just stop this again. Plugins, and now we have a chat manager, permissions, and modified world folder. These are where all of the config for all three of them are stored. So what you need to do is go into permissions and go into the permissions. Here is where all the config is for permissions. You can do all this by hand, but I usually use an online helper for this, which I'll run through. But first, let me just tell you what permissions is used for. Permissions is used for, rather than just using OP and non-OP, you can have a variety of levels. With each level, a new permission can be added. So you can have, like it is here, an admin to default and a moderator. So admins are allowed to do everything. That's what this little star means. The permission is the star. That means everything. Default are allowed to use the essentials home command, the essentials help, essentials message day, essentials rules, and essentials set home. Obviously at the moment we don't have essentials on as a plugin, but once you start adding more plugins, you'll be able to add more permissions and allow each class or group to do different things. and moderators are allowed to teleport and teleport other people, and obviously they then inherit from default class, so they get all of these as well. So at the moment, permissions is pretty pointless when you just have permissions, but obviously set this up and then set up other plugins around it. It's brilliant. It allows you to have loads of different classes. So with the online editor, what you'll need to do is, it's very simple. It sets it out in a way that is literally, you'd have to be an idiot not to understand how it works. So let's just rename this one my class, which then have all the permissions. So you then save, bad group name, oh yeah, you're not allowed gaps, save. And then you can, this is where the users are. So once you've defined the group and what permissions they're allowed to do, you then define a user. So let me just rename this me, type 96. I want to go into my class. All of the capitals need to be the same as well. So make sure that's written exactly how it is up there. And then save. So then that's where you define a user. Obviously, if your default class is the class that you want people to join when they first come into your server, then you don't have to define which users go into that class. You'll then have to set the default and to true or false in a minute, but I'll show you that. So once you've defined all of the users that you want to put into the classes and made all your classes, what you need to do is copy this code here. So just Control C and paste that into the config of your permissions. So here we have all of it here. And this is where, for some reason, the online helper doesn't put this in. This is where you'll need to do a little bit of coding, but it's really simple. Next to the default here on the classes, it says default true, false. The ones that you created, the default will not be set. So here, there's just a little, two little asterisks things. This is where you'll have to set this to false. This means that when someone joins the server, they will not be put into this class. They will be put into the default class up here. And it says default, default true. So if you do not define a user, they will be put into the default class. And then you have all of the users here. So you want to save that, minimize all of this, go to animate, go to chat manager. This allows you to have the prefixes and suffixes. For some reason, by default, this is not labeled. So if you want to do prefixes and suffixes, I suggest that you type true next to enable. All right, then what you want to do is you want to go to start and start it up. Go back into Minecraft and I'll show you some of the in-game stuff. So just log back into the server. Multiplayer, go back into the server, logging in. Right, okay, and oh, they've updated. That's what it says down there. They've updated CraftBukkit, so it even gives you updates when your CraftBukkit.jar needs updating. But I can't bother to do that at the moment. So PX allows you to do multiple things, as I've said. But what I'm going to show you now is how to do the prefixes and suffixes. You can do this in the config, as I said, but that's rather hard, so in game it sets it all out for you. So what you need to type to do a prefix and suffix is PEX and then group and then the name of the group that you want to add a prefix to. So I'm going to do what I'm in, my class. So it has to be typed exactly how it is in the config. And then you want to type prefix and then those. And then this is where you can use Minecraft server classic server protocol, which is the colouring. So if you use the and symbol and a C, that is red. If you use a B, I think that's blue. There's lots of other ones. I'll put a link in the description to the website and you can pick ones that you want on there. But at the moment I'm just going to do C and do a bracket and type me. This can obviously be anything. This can be admin. This can be changed for every single class you have. And then if you do a colour, you'll need to put it back to F, which means that the name here, me, will be in red, but then as soon as it hits here, your writing will not be in red, it will be in white, the normal colour. So what you then need to do is end it and enter, and it will say my class prefix set. So if I want to type something, oh, hello, it will then say me, and as you can see, this bit is in red because I've predefined that with the @C, it means it's red, and the @F means that my name and what I write is then in white. So that is PX. There's lots of other commands that you can do in game. You can create classes and stuff like that, but that is rather hard and quite long-winded, so I prefer this way. So basically that is it for PX and how to set up a Bukkit server. Obviously you can have a look at all my other videos I've done for setting up a Bukkit server and adding videos, but this is just a remake to go over some questions that lots of people have been asking me. Obviously if your permissions code is mucked up or your server doesn't start, it's usually because of permissions. So if you're a bit confused, just comment below and I will try and sort it out for you. But yeah, cheers for watching and goodbye.